Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Roll Jump Media Podcast. I am joined today by my panelist, Jose. Um, Maybe in a little bit we will be joined by our other two, but we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, it's going to be a two-man podcast. Today, what we're
That's
going to
right.
be... Hey, what's up, Jose? How you doing?
What's up, everyone?
Today, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the controversy surrounding Spider-Man being exclusive to PlayStation in Marvel's Avengers, Pikmin 3 Deluxe being announced for the Switch, Nintendo's financials, the PlayStation's recent state of play, the Apex Legends Season 6 trailer, and Rocksteady revealing that they are working on a Suicide Squad game. But before we go into that, Jose and I will be sharing what we've been playing. So, Jose, shall I go first, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first just because it's usually Luis, me, you, and then Andres. But
Okay, we'll keep formation.
um, yeah. So I mean, it was a pretty slow week for me again. Um, I don't know. After I finished Xenoblade Chronicles, I kind of slowed down on the games that I played. Um, I've been taking it kind of slow. Um, just playing Animal Crossing. Um, like this August update has kept me busy just trying to get like the new critters and just improving my island. We recently got our 5-star island, so we've joined the club.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
Everybody
Great
in
work,
our
great work.
group of friends we had like a 5-star island, so it's nice to finally be part of that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of because like I mentioned when I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles, like that took a lot of my time. Like I was so invested in that game,
Yeah,
to the point where,
you beat it
yeah,
rather quickly.
yeah. 135 hours I put in, and
What?
I didn't 100%. Um,
You put that what? Bro, I put
yep,
70 something in my first playthrough.
no, dude, I was crazy. I was doing like all the side quests and trying to 100% it,
Wow.
but yeah, I reached a point where like, oh, I think it was during the time when the Pokemon DLC came out. So I was like, okay, I'll just stop right here and just get to play the Pokemon DLC.
Mm,
But yeah, I don't know, like it was just like a lot of playtime for me. And so once I finished it, I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna take it easy now.
yeah,
And well,
yeah.
Luis is on playing Xenoblade Chronicles now, so he kind of takes up most of that time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm just been playing Animal Crossing, just chilling, waiting for the next game, which is Pikmin. But we'll get to that later.
True.
Um, but yeah, that's been pretty much it for me. Just Pikmin.
All right, that's
How
cool.
about you?
Well, for me, it's been a few things. Let's see, just quick ones. Apex it still is fun. We're gonna be talking about the new stuff that's coming to season 6, which is kind of exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. I still need to get my loot box. I have one more loot box to unlock all the story quests, and then I can go through the story quests, and that'll make me feel good.
Nice.
So yeah. Um, on stream, I played a little bit more of Resident Evil 4. To avoid spoilers, use the timestamps in the description. And just real quick, I had to play as well, spoilers, a little bit of spoilers for Resident Evil 4. I played as Ashley. Um, right when do you have you played Resident Evil 4?
Yes, I've never passed it, but I've played it.
Okay, so it's like about halfway through the game, you release her from getting being restrained with Leon, and
Hmm.
then you take control of her.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that part was kind of cool. I kind of liked it. It's like
But she doesn't shoot, right? Or
um
does she?
from the part that I
Does she have like
control,
a weapon?
from the part that I control, she doesn't. Like you had to throw
Okay.
you got to throw the I don't know what they're called, but like some type of vase with like it was filled with fire, and then you threw them at the
Hmm.
enemies, and then they caught on fire. Uh, yeah, it was a different kind of gameplay I didn't expect. I didn't expect it to be taking control of Ashley, so that was pretty cool. And
Hmm.
um, the puzzle at the end of that first section, I was there for about probably a good 10 minutes trying to figure that out. Where there's like
Those
there's like a
Resident Evil puzzles.
yeah, the 3x3 grid, and then you have to like switch it around to get the picture right.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was cool. I had fun. I had fun. I played it for about 50 minutes, but I plan on finishing it off stream. But it was fun. And let's see. I guess I'll talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake because I finished it. I finished it a couple days ago. I'll take you on my whirlwind of emotions. All right, so Final Fantasy VII Remake. I talked about this last week, right?
Mm. Uh, yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I think so too.
But you were getting Oh no, but that was for the other one. Withdrawals. You were getting withdrawals.
Oh, okay, okay. So I think I did talk about Remake, but I'll just talk about it here. It's all good. So Final Fantasy VII Remake is a triple A game, man. Like the budget that went into that game, you can feel it through the environments, you can feel it through the combat, you can feel it through the character interactions. Like they put a lot of care to recreating Final Fantasy VII from 1997, which is man, man. I don't know. I can't say a lot of I can't praise it more than I have because it's amazing.
Hmm.
But just a couple of things before I praise it even more. Some things that I wish to see in a sequel of it. The air combat in the game is kind of lackluster. Like they put a lot of work into the ground combat, but the air combat could use some work. So hopefully in the future they'll do that. And what else? Oh yeah, so the game, while it's very pretty and immaculate looking, um, it could be a little bit more open because it feels like a lot of corridors, even though you feel like you're in a vast place. The actual gameplay, you're kind of running through corridors, like set paths. So hopefully in the future or the next installment, they'll have environments where that doesn't happen as much. So there's more variety.
Hmm.
But yeah, the end of the game, I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoilers. So spoiler warning. Well, actually, do you plan on playing this game?
No, no, no. I'm good.
Okay. Um, After I finished the game, like I wasn't that entrenched into Final Fantasy VII to begin with. I played it a couple years back or a few years back, but I'm not into the lore. Like I know everything that happens with everybody and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
I was watching a spoiler cast with a outlet that I watched, the Easy Allies, and they had this guy on, Maximilian dude. Have you heard of him before?
No.
No? Okay. It's all good. He's like a fighting game person, but he also loves like Capcom and Final Fantasy.
Um,
So they're not. What's crazy about Final Fantasy VII that I didn't catch with the remake is that they're not doing a one for one Final Fantasy VII. They're actually introducing new concepts. It seems like because there's these things they refer to them. We're not sure what they're called, but they were kind of like ghost creatures that show up a lot during the story, but what they do is they're manipulating what transpires during the game, and I don't remember that happening much in, or if at all, in the original. So they're manipulating what's happening into the game, which kind of affects the plot in a way, even though it transpires like I remember.
mm,
Their intervention kind of alludes to some deviations that they'll take in the future. Like they might not do a one for one, uh, like who survives, who dies, things like that. There might be some surprises as to those kind of fine details. And supposedly there's a twist with the main antagonist. There might be a twist that wasn't in the original Final Fantasy VII. So people that are coming in new are having a almost like a completely new experience almost compared to the original, and those that played the original Final Fantasy VII are getting treated to new content that they can look forward to and start to speculate, which I thought was pretty cool. Like it was blowing my mind what kind of stuff they were talking about. Did I lose you?
Um, no, 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 no.
Okay.
Um, my question is for the remakes. Do you think they'll release like future remakes?
Oh, you mean like Remake 2, Remake 3?
Yeah. Oh well, no, yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right. Never mind. Yeah, yeah. Because there's still like two other games left, huh?
Yeah, so I guess I didn't make that clear. This game ends at like the beginning part of the original game. Like you go through like the beginning section before you get to the open world of the original game. That's where this one ends basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot more
Um,
game to go through.
I mean, I guess you could say that's I mean, I don't know. Would you say that that's what makes a good remake good? That it's not um like exactly like the original? Because like you said, this remake, um, what makes it enjoyable, I guess, is that it adds new things that like the old fans can enjoy because it's
Yeah.
you know it's new. It
Hmm.
makes it fresh. But
Right.
then it also opens up like this. I mean, well, it's a brand new experience for new players as well. So it kind of it's able to appeal to both old and new fans. Would you say that that's what makes an ideal remake?
Ah,
Um, well, ideal.
that's a good question. You know what? If something that I liked was remade, I can't really think of anything really. Something that's I'm really invested into got remade. Let's see. I would say I would probably lean more towards a one to one, but since I'm not too entrenched into Final Fantasy VII Remake, I feel like this was a really good interpretation, and it seems like they're straddling the line well. So I guess if they straddle the line well and they don't alienate too much of what was in the original, and they do it thoughtfully, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I would trust the developers, especially since the producers from and the people in charge from the original are in charge of the remake.
Hmm.
It'll be fine. So yeah, I'd be down for that approach. But yeah,
I mean, as long as it doesn't ruin the original, but
yeah, basically, as long as it doesn't ruin the original. And did I want to say something else? I can't think of it, so I guess we'll move on. But Final Fantasy. Oh, I put. So suppose I said that this game went through kind of the beginning portion of the original. So that beginning portion, just in the remake, I put almost 45 hours into it. So I think
45
it.
hours?
Yeah, I put 45 hours into it. So I would say it's worth it. I was afraid that it was gonna be like 20 something, but seeing as I got 45 hours out of it, I did like look into nooks and crannies, but even if I didn't, it would probably be like 30 something. So I think it's a good value. And the last game that I wanted to talk about was actually just real quick. I'm playing Breath of the Wild. I'm having fun with it. I just got to spoilers. To avoid spoilers, use the timestamps in the description. I got to the Yiga clan hideout and I took out the Yiga clan hideout and then
Mm,
got the Thunder Helm. So that's where I'm at right now.
nice, nice.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it more once I finish the game and we'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting though was people generally didn't like the Yiga clan hideout. How did you feel about it?
Really, I think it's interesting. I mean, I guess they could like add a little more to the lore of it, but I don't know. I think it was a really interesting feature or like part of the game. Um, and I like how they like it's not just like a part of the game that you go through and then you're done with it forever because like they follow you, you know? I don't know if you've experienced that yet, but like some
Oh
of
yeah,
those enemies pop up. Um,
yeah.
so I don't know. I guess that adds to the whole atmosphere of the game. I enjoyed it. I think it was. Um, I mean, because the one thing about Breath of the Wild that I kind of missed is like the feeling of like being in a dungeon, you know? Because it is this Breath of the Wild game is more open world, so you get a little less of that. You do get that kind of feeling with the shrines, but it's not exactly the same.
Hmm.
Um, so I remember when I went into the hideout, um, it kind of gave me those vibes. So I really enjoyed that. Because you
Ah,
know you had to like kind of avoid the enemies who are walking, you know, and hide from them and things like that. So I mean, I enjoyed it. Um, how about you?
I, y- what do you think I enjoyed, or did you think I didn't?
I mean, I want to say that you enjoyed it because I mean, I know you're into like the whole ninja thing,
Yo, I was down
and
for
they're
the
like
Yiga clan
basically
hideout.
ninjas. So.
Once I found out how to get into it, once I put it together, and then I
Mhm.
you know, I'm wearing my Sheikah armor the whole time.
Yeah.
So there was no problem for me sneaking because I think it gives you buffs to where you can sneak easier around enemies.
Mm.
So I think that's where the issue was coming in for other people. Like they were having issues
Yeah.
doing the sneaking part. But yeah, yeah, dude. What's crazy is that if I did fail it a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. Like I did get caught. But if if you sneak attack them, they go down in one hit. But if you don't sneak attack them and they call their people, did you do you remember like what happens?
It's a little vague. Wait, don't like two other pop up
Yo, like a
or
yeah, yeah. So everybody that's in the room, I believe, comes at you, and then there's others that spawn. Yeah, the smaller ones.
oh, okay.
So like trying to take down one of those big dudes, Yiga clan members, just like head on. They take so much damage. Like I think one time the best I could do was take off like 1/6 of their HP bar before they one shot me. So I
Oh,
kind
I
of
think I
like that.
remember.
Yeah, because they had those like they had like a sword, a pretty big sword,
Uh,
and it was jagged, and then they'll just like do one swipe down on you, and if they hit you with that, you're
oh
done.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Dang, I
crazy.
need to go back to play that game. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can see myself after I'm done dipping in just every now and then, but not for too long. But I'll get into it later, later in a different one once I'm done or something. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. I think that'll do it for that portion of the podcast. Are you ready to go on to the news?
Yes, let's
Okay,
do it.
yeah, let's do it. So let's go ahead and move on to the first story of our podcast, which is going to be about Spider-Man. So earlier this week, Spider-Man was announced to be exclusive to PlayStation and Marvel Avengers, and people had a lot to say about it. So here is what I gathered from different sources. First, I'm going to describe what Marvel Avengers is, just in case the audience does not know what kind of game it is. So, according to the official website, Marvel Avengers is an epic third person action adventure game that combines an original cinematic story with single player and cooperative gameplay. Assemble into a team of up to 4 players online, master extraordinary abilities, customize a growing roster of heroes, and defend the Earth from escalating threats. The playable characters announced so far are Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Hawkeye, and Spider Man for PlayStation. I also brought up an interview from so Sion Meyer from VG247 pointed out a Newsweek interview of the head of Crystal Dynamics, Scott Amos. The interview was shared by Nibel on Twitter, and this is what the head of Crystal Dynamics had to say about Spider-Man being exclusive. Because of Sony's unique relationship with Marvel and PlayStation, specifically, that gives it's because of Sony's unique relationship with Marvel and PlayStation specifically that gives us an affordance with Spider-Man that we wouldn't have otherwise. It comes back to the relationship with PlayStation and Marvel. We happen to be the ones who can execute and deliver. As creators, we have this opportunity that can make some have this opportunities where we can make something unique and fun and awesome. So that was like a bunch. I kind of put the quote together from like different sections of the interview, so it might have sounded a little bit of disjointed.
Mhm.
And then the last little bit of information I have is that according to Matthew Leibel from Fansided, Sony has the movie rights to Spider-Man, but their rights to Spider-Man in video games remains unclear as there has never been an official announcement on the topic. So that'll do it for the information about this exclusivity. What are your thoughts about Spider-Man being exclusive to PlayStation, and do you think people feeling negative about the news is justified?
Well, I think I mean I personally think they have a right to be disappointed or to be upset. Um, I mean I understand like the whole exclusivity, and the deals, that Marvel has with well in this case with Sony and Spider-Man. Um, my I don't know how to phrase it. I guess my concern is like what kind of precedent is this set,
Okay.
because I mean you're saying that Spider-Man because Spider-Man is exclusive to Sony, only PlayStation users will be able to experience that, that feature, play as
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Right.
Um,
Right.
whereas PC players or I don't know, Xbox players won't be able to. Um, I was talking to Luis about this actually today in the morning, um, and I mean apparently they're charging the same price for the game for all platforms. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
As far as I know, to my knowledge, and I think it's correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be the same price.
Okay, so I mean it comes back to how fair is this um, for them to charge the same price for to all gamers, but then offer some extra, content to, an exclusive group of people.
That's a good
I think
point.
that's where the uproar comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean that raises more questions. Things like, well, if you knew that was going to happen, I mean, why include a character that is gonna be available only to a certain, a select few. Well, not a few, but a part of the whole, of the audience that you're trying to reach. Um, Obviously, they saw the opportunity to include Spider-Man, which is a pretty, I mean, iconic character in the Marvel universe. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, it makes sense to include him. But again, it's just kind of, you've brought up this, whole chaos, I guess,
Yeah.
um, over, oh well, how come they get it and we don't, or and it's just kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna harm them, as far as like promoting the game or the sales of the game. I mean, I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know if Xbox users or if people that were planning to buy that game for non, PlayStation consoles, um, if that affected their decision to get it now. Um, well, I guess we'll just have to
Mm.
wait and see
Yeah.
when the game comes out. But I definitely I definitely get where people are coming from with the whole um, outrage that they're expressing. I want to hear from you though, because I know Spider-Man is I mean, it's your favorite superhero. So
Yeah.
I want to see what you have to say about this. Right.
Sure. So I was not interested in this game at all. Well, I was interested, but I wasn't planning on buying the game per se.
Hmm.
But since Spider-Man is coming to the game, I
Yeah.
think I'm going to be buying it once he's, released. So
Hmm.
that's cool for me, but you do bring up some good points as to um, who this is alienating the fans because the Avengers isn't really the Avengers kind of without Spider-Man. People love Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
so I understand, Sony doing, an actual Spider-Man game where it's just Spider-Man and because of them and their support for the project, they're having that Spider-Man game exclusive to their platform. But having an actual character with the gravity Spider-Man has amongst like probably the one of the most popular superheroes ever, if not the most popular. Um,
Hmm.
it is what do you call it? It is grimy. I do wish that all the platforms did have it because I do see why they're doing it because it's going to be pulling more people to their platform. But at the end of the day, you kind of want to ask, do you want to have, make more money or is having a good PR better rather than, the business move? And to
Hmm.
Sony right now, it looks like the business move is going to be the way because, the the consequences don't outweigh the benefits for them.
Right.
So yeah, Sony's done this before with games like Destiny, where they'll have I don't know if they're exclusive or timed exclusive missions and things like that, but or raids, but that kind of content is they're just missions, It's not actual gameplay that you're missing out on. Sure, you're missing out on mechanics from the level or whatever, but you're not actually missing out on abilities, and having like a small section of the game cut out to you as far as a character. So, uh, yeah, I do feel for people that are on the other platforms and they really wanted to live out the Avengers story that Crystal Dynamics has to tell. I really wish that Spider-Man was on everything. Hopefully, Sony will reconsider if there's enough people speaking out, but it's unlikely seeing that they are seem to be prioritizing the business move rather than making everybody happy. So that's what the current standing is of that. It seems like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, and you make a good point, because you mentioned that you weren't really interested in the game
yeah,
before, but then once they revealed that Spider-Man was coming to the game, um, you know,
I'm in.
that yeah, that's something that kind of drew you in. So, um, I mean, that's a good point as well. Like at the end of the day, it is, from a business standpoint, I mean, it's beneficial. It's more beneficial to add the character and bring in more people who are going to buy the game. Um, Unfortunately, with that, comes the whole exclusivity some people won't be able to have access to it, but uh, as you said, it's more of like there's more positives than negatives for them in that sense. So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
they're doing it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely get the people that are upset about it. I definitely get where they're coming from as well. So
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll see if something changes in the future.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point that you brought up about having them be the same price, even though a major character isn't going to be part of the game. Like,
Yeah.
how would you deal with that, you know? If like how would you price that? That's actually a really
Yeah.
interesting thing to
And
think
I mean,
about.
it's not like we're talking about like costumes or
Yeah.
like little like this is Spider-Man, like this is a huge, like you said, one of the most, if not the most popular superhero. Um, so it's not like just a small little extra thing that you know PlayStation players are gonna get. Like this is like a whole
Hmm. Hmm.
like a whole character. So obviously with that comes a lot of controversy. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I just thought of something that would make it even worse. But I was thinking of what possibly they could do, but I wouldn't suggest this. Like people have to be subscribers to PlayStation Plus to have
Yeah,
Spider-Man or something, but they would never do that, and that doesn't make that much sense.
yeah,
But I was trying to think of what,
yeah.
yeah. But, all
That would
right.
make PlayStation fans angry
Oops.
as well.
Yeah. So
So
nobody wins there.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on to the next story?
Yes.
Awesome. The next story has to do with Rocksteady. A lot of people were wondering what Rocksteady was working on or are working on, and it turns out that they're working on a Suicide Squad game. The details that I have here are from John Fingus from Engadget. So Rocksteady, they teased an image of Superman with crosshairs on his head yesterday or a couple days ago. I can't remember when. Um, there's a DC event happening called DC Fandom. It's happening on August 22nd, and we may see more of the game or a trailer or something there. For those who don't know, Rocksteady's most recent games have been Arkham Knight from 2015 and Arkham VR from 2016. And for those who don't know what the Suicide Squad is, I'm not too entrenched into the DC universe, so I had to look it up. So I use a Wikipedia entry about the Suicide Squad, and the Suicide Squad does exist in the DC universe. The squad is a team of supervillains who undertake high-risk missions for parole, work release, and/or reduced prison sentences. So what I have to ask to the panelists are you guys interested in the game, and does this take you by surprise? What Rocksteady is doing for the next game?
Um, well, I mean, I've never been like a huge DC fan as it is. But I mean, it's always nice to see because I mean, the Arkham, like the franchise, the series, it's pretty popular, pretty good games. So I mean, it's always nice to see, like the what would you call them, publishers, um, developers, um,
Developers. Excuse me.
um, like moving to other property. Obviously, it's still DC, but it's exploring other characters. Um, so I mean, based on how the other games that they've made have been received, it should be a pretty good game. Um, I mean, other than that, I'm not really a big Suicide Squad fan as it is, so
Yeah, I got you.
I'm not really like that hype.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of people were rooting for a Batman game, but it seems like the
Mhm.
Batman game may be I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but there's there's a team in Montreal. I forget what their name is, but supposedly they're going to be doing a Batman game and not Rocksteady this time around. And yeah, it seems like the reception, I didn't really see it blow up too much, but maybe I just wasn't entrenched in the whole hype surrounding the announcement. I'm not into DC as much either. So I think it's DC and it has Superman and it's gonna have the Suicide Squad. I'm sure it's going to sell well once it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to be looking for new information. Like when it's on August 22nd, I want to see how it plays and everything. Anything additional you want to talk about the Suicide Squad game?
Not, I mean, not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of weird that well, because obviously, like the Suicide Squad movie came out, a few years ago. Um, so I mean, in my opinion, like I feel like you have to, as they say, strike the iron while it's hot. So I mean, it's kind of strange that they're just releasing now the Suicide Squad game. Um, when I guess like the hype for that was at its peak like a few years ago when the movie came out.
Ah,
Um, but I mean, again, it's like a different, video games are like different from movies. So I guess in a sense it doesn't really matter. Because I mean, like video game is a video game. It's not, like if people buy a video game, it's not because it's there's a movie about it out right now. Um,
yeah.
so I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Um, but I mean, for me, um, I mean, I guess if they want to draw in like casual um, fans of Suicide Squad to buy the game, then it would have made more sense to release it, back then, or at least announce it back then. Um,
I
but
hear you.
that's just my opinion. We
One
got
thing.
co-host Andres as well. I don't know if he has anything to add, any opinions.
So one thing I thought was pretty interesting about this one is that the Suicide Squad movie wasn't received that well, correct? Like there was
Yeah.
very mixed opinions about it.
Hmm.
So what this game has a benefit of doing is making a they have a lot of room to make the game awesome. Like the property have an awesome story behind it,
Right.
as opposed to Marvel, where the movies are lauded by fans. They love them, and the Marvel's Avengers games have a lot to live up to. I think the inverse for the Suicide Squad game could be beneficial to Rocksteady and producing a critically and what do you call it? Critically and also critically successful and also successful with the gamers.
Mm.
So we'll just like you said, we'll have to see how it pans out. Are you ready to move on to arguably probably your most anticipated topic of the show?
That's right.
Okay, let's do it. So, Pikmin 3 Deluxe was announced and it's coming on October 30th. This is what Nintendo's Twitter had to say about the game. Prepare yourselves, brave explorers. Set off for the lush planet PNF 404 when Pikmin 3 Deluxe lands on October 30th. This version features multiple difficulty modes, new side story missions featuring Olimar and Louis, and all the DLC from the original release. All right, Jose, I couldn't have brought a better person on today for this podcast. Tell me what makes Pikmin 3 special and why it coming to the Switch is a good move. So, take it away.
Okay, so well, Pikmin 3, I never played the first Pikmin or the second Pikmin. My first game in the franchise was the third one. And I played that for the Wii U. Um, it was actually I think when we bought the Wii U, we had like it came with like a bundle, and it included like a free download game, a free game download. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to choose Pikmin um 3 just to like check it out. I mean, we figured it was free, so might as well just download it and try it out. Um, and it turned out to be a really good game. I was actually surprised because I mean the only Pikmin related stuff that I was aware of was Olimar from Super Smash Brothers. I wasn't really,
Right.
uh, I mean, I didn't really know what the premise of the games were, what the, gameplay, like play style was, um, until I played the game. And um, I mean, I guess just like a short description, it's kind of like I don't know how I would describe it. I've never really played a game like that. I'm not sure if there are other games out there
Mm-hmm.
that play like Pikmin, but you control these little, creatures, Pikmin, and you're able to kind of command them to do certain things. Um, you explore this world where there's creatures and then there's also food. Um, and as explorers, it's your duty to kind of, study these, specimen. So
Okay.
you use the Pikmin to kind of, um, defeat these monsters and then just kind of collect them. Um, and the fruit as well. There's fruit and
I see.
different. Um, it's a little hard to explain, but um, I don't know. The when I first started playing it, like it was, I think it's because it was so different that I kind of captured my attention, and I don't know. It was just a really fun experience.
Okay.
So, and obviously, the Wii U wasn't really the best like console as far as like its lifespan. Um, there were very few games that we actually bought for the Wii U, and obviously that one was one of them. So when the Switch came out, um, Luis and I, and um, I mean, Pikmin 3 was one of those games that we would always say, "Oh, we wish it were ported,"
Yeah.
so uh, or at least release Pikmin 4 on the Switch. Just something to kind of feed us, Um, and so
Uh-huh.
when they announced this, it's like Nintendo heard our prayers because they are releasing the port to Switch. Um, and I mean, I was just expecting the port, but they're actually adding like more stuff, so that makes it even better. Um,
Yeah, that surprised me too.
so yeah, so I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to play it again.
Man, it's coming
But
soon. It's like, wow.
yeah, October 30th.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of random, but it kind of annoys me when release dates are like the 30th of that month, like the last day of the month. It annoys me for some reason, like just say 2 months from now or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
It's like
think it's
false
two
hope.
months, but it's 3 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm excited. And I don't know. I hope people buy the game or at least give it a try. New, people, um, because it's a really good game, and I'm just glad that they are, investing time in this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I feel like Nintendo, I mean, they have some really good IPs that are kind of pushed to the side. F-Zero and well, I mean, Star Fox got a new game. Um,
Yeah, that
whether
was
it's
on.
good or not, cannot
Yeah.
debatable.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they are, giving attention to Pikmin. So we'll see how it does.
Yeah. I actually I made a video I think a week or two ago and I included Pikmin in it, so I gave my good vibes to the game coming out. I played my part.
You better, right?
Yeah. I was gonna ask you how Pikmin 3 plays. So, does it feel good to control the Pikmin? Does it feel clunky, or do you think they can make improvements there, or should they just keep it the same and it'll be fine?
I think it works the way the way it is. It's pretty smooth. The one thing I'm kind of not concerned, but curious to see how it's going to work is the great thing about Pikmin 3 on the Wii U was that you were able to use the pad to kind of see the map and be able to wherever you clicked with the stylus, that's where you would throw the Pikmin um,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. So so it made it. I know it was very natural with the Wii U pad. It felt very
Ah, uh-huh.
natural, it felt very smooth. You were able to. One of the things about the game is that it kind of forces you to multitask. So you have to, there's maybe like a fruit over, in one place. So you send in some pigment there to pick it up and carry it to the spaceship. But then keep going, and then, you have to defeat an enemy over here. So while you're defeating the enemy, you already have those pigmen, picking up the fruit, taking it to the spaceship. So you're over here concerned about defeating the enemy, but you're
Mm,
still
okay.
able to see the progress, on the map. Uh, and that's just kind of how it works. Um,
Huh.
yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know how I'm
Yeah.
describing it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you're doing a pretty good job.
what that things,
Hmm?
but yeah, I would say it's like a multitask um effort. It's like the multitasking game.
Mm-hmm.
And which
Okay,
is one
okay.
of the things that I liked about it, because I feel like you're always doing something. Like it's just kind of, I don't know, like it just feels like you're taking you're using the most of your time playing the game. Um, I don't feel like there's ever a time where you're just there doing nothing, you know?
Mm.
Uh, I mean the graphics were pretty nice on the Wii U. I don't know if they'll do any updates for the port, improve some things, but it was really nice as it was for the Wii U. Um, but yeah, it was very smooth. Again, for the Switch, I don't know how it's gonna work now that there's no pad. Um,
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure it's still gonna be the same game. It's just, and I guess you also had the option of, well, actually, I'm not sure. I think you did have to use the Wii U pad um, for the Wii U. Um, but I don't know how it's gonna run on the Switch, but I mean, it should be fine. I'm gonna get it regardless.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yo, I can feel your excitement, man. I really can. You're really passionate about
Yes.
this. I respect that. You know what? I can't say that I'm gonna buy it, but I'm gonna be watching and seeing. I want to be more knowledgeable at least about the Pikmin series, and maybe one day I'll give it a chance. All right. Are you ready to talk about some more Nintendo news?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So, Nintendo released their Q1 results for 2020, and they're raking in the cash. So, let's see. Let's see what Nintendo has right here. Nintendo is raking in the cash, and the details are coming from Ryan Brown from CNBC and Nintendo's official Q1 quarter results. So this is what this is so all the details that I have right here is what they sold or how much money they made from April to June of 2020. All right, so the first bullet point, Nintendo made 144.7 billion yen from business operations, which is a 427.7% increase from the last year, which is bonkers. They made over 400% more money this between April and June of this year compared to April and June of last year.
Yeah.
Uh, they sold 3.05 million switches and 2.62 million switch lights, which is a 166.6 increase from last year. Um, 9 titles sold at least 1 million units, with Animal Crossing being the standout with 160. Sorry. So nine titles sold at least a million units so far in their fiscal year for the Q1, and so Animal Crossing is the standout with 10.63 million units sold between April and June. It does not count March, where March, March 20th is when it came out, March 21st. And the last bullet point I have, 55.6% of all video game sales for Nintendo were digital. This is a 17.3 percentage point increase from the same time frame last year.
That's interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, so last year was around a little under 38% or so.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about Nintendo just crushing it in terms of making money? And people would argue that they haven't been putting out a lot of stuff, but their financials are saying otherwise.
I mean, good for it. Good for them. Good for Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see, well, just like on the basics, it's nice to see them kind of succeed with this um, console. Uh, Obviously, with the Wii U, I don't want to say the reputation was like ruined, but it was damaged a little, you know. I think there were doubts about whether the Switch would, be able to um, succeed,
Yeah.
or at least surpass the Wii U. There were concerns there. Obviously, I mean, they're succeeding to say the
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Um, I think Animal Crossing being as successful as it is, I think there's a lot of factors into it. Obviously, it's like the past Animal Crossing games have been hugely successful. Um, and I mean, it had been a while since the last main Animal Crossing title in the franchise. So obviously that factors into like the success of the game. But I
Hmm.
think also like just I mean, as bad as the pandemic is, um, I think that really contributed a lot to its success. Um, just because I feel like it's kind of an outlet. It was like an outlet for people. Obviously, a lot of people were quarantined. Um, so what better way to endure that than by playing video games? Um,
Right.
and I think Animal Crossing, it's one of the most interactive games in terms of like being able to connect with other people online. Um, so I think that also adds to the appeal of the game. As far as like the digital copies, figures go,
Hmm.
I think that also has a lot to do with just the whole, coronavirus thing.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think obviously people are gonna prefer to download it straight off the eShop than have to go and get a physical copy and risk their health, etc. So
True.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like the coronavirus pandemic was like beneficial because it's not. It's affecting a lot of people, but I think it definitely does. I don't know. It affected the way um, people consume games,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
especially for Nintendo as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting to see.
Yeah. Most definitely. I think you articulated that really well. Yeah. I don't have much else to say about this. It's just amazing how much Animal Crossing is. I just would never. I never anticipated that Animal Crossing would be carrying Nintendo like it is in 2020.
I'm telling you, got the
Yo, I have a feeling it's gonna be nominated, man. People are gonna be upset if it's not.
Ghost of Tsushima. Better watch out.
I'm rooting for Final
You
Fantasy
know why
7.
you didn't anticipate that is because you Never mind. I was gonna cuss, but I can't
Oh,
cuss.
you can't cuss.
Yeah, I'm coming from someone who just went in blind and just can't fully appreciate Animal Crossing. So,
That's right, cause that's because you were judgmental, bitch.
all right. Shall we move on to the next story?
Yes.
Okay. So we have two more stories remaining. This one is about PlayStation's State of Play that happened on August 6th. So thankfully, somebody from IGN, Jordan Serrani, he put together a compilation of everything that was announced at the State of Play. It looks like everything. Hopefully it's everything, but I just put everything that he listed on his website and I put it onto our podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and go through everything, and if something catches your attention or if you want to talk about it, we can stop and talk about it. If not, we can just move on after I announce what it is. So the
Sounds
first
good.
game, okay, cool. The first game that was shown was Crash Bandicoot 4, and Crash Bandicoot 4 is going to be coming on October 2nd. Um, I think it's looking good. Coming off of the trilogy that we had a couple years ago or a few years ago.
You talking about Trash Bandicoot already?
Crash Bandicoot was the first one. It was the first one shown, and if you like platformers, I think you should give it a try. Talking about being judgmental, don't be judgmental about it. You gotta try it if you can. Uh, the next game is the Hitman trilogy. Hitman Trilogy is going to be coming in January 2021, and it's going to be VR compatible. It's going to include Hitman 1, 2, and 3 that was released on this generation of consoles. 3 is going to be a new entry. The next game that I have right here, they talked about Braid Anniversary Edition. Braid was initially released in 2008. It was is a puzzle platformer. It's going to be coming in early 2021. They also said that Spelunky 2 is going to be coming in September 15th. Vader Immortal, it's a VR game. It's going to be coming to PSVR, which was previously exclusive to the Oculus Rift or the Oculus platform. It's going to be coming in August 25th. Control's expansion is going to be coming on August 27th. And Temtem. So Temtem is a Pokemon-like MMO. It's going to be coming to the PS5 as well as the Switch and the Xbox Series X. That was pointed out to by Liam Doolin from Nintendo Life. It's not just going to be coming to the PS5, but also other platforms.
I'm kind of curious to see how that game does, though. Um, Obviously, I mean, the Pokemon comparisons are there. Um, and I mean, as a Pokemon fan, I'm actually kind of excited to see um, kind of like a direct competition for Pokemon. Um, just
Uh
because I
huh.
feel like Pokemon kind of have to like step it up. Um, but that's a different conversation. So I mean, it's interesting to see a Pokemon-like game that's an MMO, which is what a lot of people have been asking from Pokemon for a long time.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it works out. But I'm actually kind of hoping that it does well, that it's successful, just because I feel like Pokemon meets that competition to kind of keep improving, um, as a franchise. So um, we'll see where that goes. The graphics were nice too. They look nice.
Yeah. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play that together.
I don't know. We shall see.
We'll see. The next game, Hood Outlaws and Legends, was announced. It is a third-person 4v4 multiplayer heist game, and it's described as a dark and gritty reimagining of the Robin Hood legend. So this one did catch my eye. I'm gonna be looking out for it. I do like third-person games, and as long as there's action in it, I'm looking out for it. The next one, this is my last bullet point, but it includes multiple games, so listen up closely. We got to see more from Bugsnax, which is going to be released in holiday 2020. More from Godfall, which is also going to be released holiday 2020. We saw more of the Pathless, which is going to be released holiday of 2020. And something interesting about the Pathless is that I've been anticipating this game since last year. So finally being able to see actual gameplay rather than trailers and just seeing it in motion, I am still looking forward to this game. It's looking pretty unique. I like the graphic style, how it's playing, the fluidity of it all, and being able to latch onto your eagle and just fly around places. It's looking very visually striking and intriguing. So the next
I
game
know.
I had.
I think
Oh, go ahead.
Luis. I'm not sure if Luis mentioned this. That he was interested in this game as well. I don't know if it was this game or if it was another one, but
I believe it was this one.
um,
He shared it in
yeah.
the chat. Yeah, he said the Pathless.
Okay, so I mean, we shall see.
Yeah. The next game is called Aeon Must Die. It's coming out in 2021, and this one was kind of interesting. The character looked like he was not really a mech, but kind of mech-like. He had like armor or something that was lit up, and he was like acting feral and just wrecking shop. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on this one. It looked pretty cool. Another game, Mutationem. Anno Mutationem. I did not write down the release date on that one, unfortunately, but that was also given more detail. Genshin Impact is going to be coming out in the fall of 2020. The Pedestrian is going to be coming out January 2021. And lastly, Auto Chess is going to be coming out on October 31st. All right, so that's gonna do it for the state of play that happened on August 6th. We shared our thoughts, so I think it's time to move on to our final story. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So the final story is that something that I added yesterday. I had forgotten about it until I played Apex. So the trailer for Apex Legends Season 6 dropped, and it featured the new legend Rampart.
Really?
Yeah, I almost forgot about this. So I was directed to the official website by Chris Holt over at Engadget, and there they had some details to share. So Rampart is described as an expert modder who made her name in underground fight clubs. Rampart talks big and has ballistics to back it up. So Rampart, looks like she's she looks like she's of like an Indian background. Uh, you know, Apex Legends has been what do you call it? Applauded for including a lot of women of color into the game and just women in general. They make up a big portion of the game, and a lot of people feel represented because of all the variety that is in the game. So shout outs to them for continuing to include diversity into the game and not feeling like it's shoehorned in. It feels natural. So I think Respawn should give a lot of get a lot of praise for doing that. And the next bullet point that I have here, this season is going to be introducing crafting. So season 6 is going to be introducing crafting where you can collect materials around the map to build better gear. There's going to be a new energy SMG. It's going to be called the Volt, which was in Titanfall 2, and I really like that gun in Titanfall 2, so I'm looking forward to that. And the last detail I have is that Emma Kent from Eurogamer pointed out a post by Twitter user Shrugtal, who suggests that there may be a compound bow coming to the game as well. So I just wanted to point that out. I know Luis isn't here to hold a hype discussion with me, but I did want to point it out anyway. I'm really looking forward to that bow if it's true, man. That's gonna be really cool.
Well, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how the crafting is gonna work. Because obviously, I mean, that's gonna you're gonna be vulnerable, right? I'm assuming you're gonna be vulnerable while you're crafting. So, um,
Yeah, I
I mean, I
imagine.
think it's gonna have a little more of like a, just more strategizing, added to the game. Animal Crossing's impact. Just kidding.
It's being felt in shooters as well. But yeah, there's usually a lot of downtime in Apex unless you're actively like looking for fights. So you'll have time to craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're unlucky, like I tend to be. But that's a different
That's
story.
right.
Yeah. All right, so that's gonna do it for all the news info that I have for this week. Shall we move on to pass or play?
We shall.
All right. So, pass or play. Those of you who are new, how pass or play works is that panelists from the podcast they choose a game, they bring a quote from the back of the box and present it to the other panelists, and from that quote, the panelists have to say if they would play the game, and they also, if they can, have to guess what game the quote is describing. So I do have one today, and also my panelist Jose has one as well. So who shall go first?
I can go first.
Okay, Jose, take it away.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, here we go. Retire to the country for a new challenge in blank. Hard work is rewarded as you struggle to bring prosperity back in a neglected farm. Work the land, pick up odd jobs, and get to know the neighbors. Blank has all the charm of the original classic, plus many new surprises. That's it. It's kind of brief.
Okay. I was gonna say Stardew Valley, but you said the classic.
Is
Like,
Stardew Valley not a classic?
well, I think that's like a new entry, right? There's no original or some
Oh, okay,
first
yeah.
game.
Good point.
Um, huh. Get to know the neighbors, bring prosperity. It sounds like it's not my kind of game.
Yeah,
It,
well,
it
I can see that.
okay. It sounds like it's not my kind of game. Um, I'm backed up with games I have to play, so I don't think I can find room to play this one. I think
You're
I
gonna
have
pass
an
for.
yeah. I think I'm gonna pass, but I'm gonna pass, but I have another guess. I think. Um, this is a long shot, but I'm gonna say Room Factory
Okay.
because that was featured in directs recently, and there's multiple entries. I'm trying to think of a different game where you get to know the neighbors, bring prosperity. Isn't there a game, the Dragon Cafe or something? I forget what it's called.
Dragon Cafe, what?
There's
I've never heard of
some
that.
yeah, there's like some Dragon Cafe or something. I don't know. I believe it's on the Switch, and it gives me that kind of vibe too. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm a pass.
All right.
Andres, are you here? We're playing Pass or Play. It seems like he's skipping out. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. So then the game is actually you're kind of right. It's Harvest Moon. High School
Oh
64.
no, I think that's the one I was thinking of. I just couldn't think of it. Okay,
Yeah, so I kind of
Harvest
chose this
Moon.
game just because it's kind of similar to Animal Crossing. So I wanted to just kind of try and throw you guys off, but um,
Yeah,
I've never actually really played this game. But I mean, it is what it is.
yeah. Maybe after Animal
But yeah,
Crossing dies
you were
down.
right. It's not. It doesn't seem like your type of game, right? So I mean, it
Yeah,
kind of makes sense to pass.
yeah. I think I've looked it up before. I just can't remember exactly the art style and how it plays. But a lot of people love it. I hear good things about it.
Yeah. I think the first time I heard about it was for the DS. The first time I saw a name of it. This is the description for the 64 game, the Nintendo 64 game.
Okay.
Um, so, and I mean, when it says the classic, it refers to, I guess there was one for the Super Nintendo. Um,
Ah, okay.
so, I mean, it's a pretty established franchise. And here I thought it was just like a Nintendo DS game. I don't know.
I see. I see. That's a cool pick. I like that. All right. Seems like it's my turn. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna rephrase this first part, but it's still gonna have the same meaning, because it sounds weird.
Okay.
All right. A magical world is facing a threat, an evil entity that unleashes havoc, terror, and destruction. Join blank, a heroic superstar, and blank, a courageous girl skilled in the ancient art of summoning, as they embark on an epic quest to defeat blank's deadliest enemy. Only the final summoning can defeat blank and bring peace. The game features an enhanced facial motion system, stunning 3D environments, and new conditional turn-based battle system.
Dang, that's turn-based system. That makes me think that it's an JRPG.
That's what you think?
Yeah, that's how I mean, the fact that you mentioned like summoning, it makes me think of like you use monsters or some type of like creatures to fight.
Pokemon?
Um, nah, it's not Pokemon. Um, could you repeat it again?
Sure. A magical world is facing a threat, an evil entity that unleashes havoc, terror, and destruction. Join blank, a heroic superstar, and blank, a courageous girl skilled in the ancient art of summoning, as they embark on an epic quest to defeat blank's deadliest enemy. Only the final summoning can defeat Blake and bring peace. The game features an enhanced facial motion system, stunning 3D environments, and a new conditional turn-based battle system.
I have no idea what it is.
I
I
think
mean,
if my
just based on what I know, I
uh-huh.
mean, it sounds like a JRPG, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
I would play it. Um, but I don't think I have a guess of what it could be.
This
Because
J-
there's a guy and a girl, right?
yeah.
Those are like the protagonists, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Um,
If my boy was here, I think he would get it.
oh,
I don't
really?
know. I don't know if that gives you a hint or not.
Damn it. I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, well, I mean, I'm guessing it's a game that he has played or that he plays.
I want to say he did play it.
I don't have a guess, but I'm gonna play.
Okay. You don't want to throw out like a Hail Mary JRPG series or something?
Oh, yeah, I can. I mean, no, I was gonna say like a Persona game, but I don't think he's
Mm.
played any other games besides just Persona 5.
Uh, I think you would have got Persona 5 if it was the game.
Uh, 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 um, no, I have no guesses. I don't know.
Okay. But you're going to play it though, right? You would play it?
Yes.
Okay. So the game in question is Final Fantasy 10.
Okay.
Okay. I got towards the end of Final Fantasy 10, but then I faced a boss that was wrecking me and I rage quit the game.
Oh,
And I never went
seriously?
back to it. Yeah.
Well, damn.
But yeah, the I had fun though up to that point.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 10. My
I mean,
original
it's
game,
crossed my mind. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I said my original game was Final Fantasy 14, but I think I brought it before.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. I think I
Honestly, I
brought that
can't
one.
even I can't like discern between the different Final Fantasy.
Yeah, sure.
How many are there in total right now? 18?
Final Fantasies, mainline Fantasies, there's the last one was 15.
15? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of spin-offs and stuff that I don't even know how many there are. They're probably over 100 or something. I wouldn't put it past them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason why I kind of don't bother to like try it out because I just feel like it's too many. Um, is it like are they related to each other like all the games or are they
Mm,
just standalone?
like the mainline ones, they're not related. Like you can just jump into any one of them and they have a self-contained story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the spin-offs and stuff, a lot of them are, yeah, quite a few of them are related to the mainline ones or they have their own self-contained stories as well.
Mm.
But yeah, what I really want is a hopefully on the PS5 they'll bring a trilogy of 13 because they only have them separately as far as I last time I looked, and I really want those together in a package.
Well, ask and you shall receive. We got
Yeah,
Pikmin.
put it out there and you might get it.
That's right.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us this week. We have been Roll Jump Media. If you want to catch us on other platforms, or if you want to see what we're up to, you can follow us on pretty much any social media. As long as you look up Road Jump Media and your preferred platform, we should be on there, or most likely will be on there. We also stream on Twitch, so if you want to see us there, drop us a follow over there. And we also post YouTube videos. So yeah, check us out there as well. All right. Before we sign off, do you want to say anything to the audience before we head out?
Thank you guys for listening. See you next week.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this podcast, and we will see you next time.